This is Artemis Mission Control. You're once again seeing a live look inside the cabin of the Orion spacecraft. There in the center of your screen is NASA astronaut Christina Cook, and to the left is NASA astronaut Victor Glover. The crew is currently wrapping up a pre-lunar flyby cabin configuration activity, and during that activity they deployed several cameras and other equipment that will be used during the lunar flyby, which is planned for flight day 6. And they also adjusted the spacecraft's lighting and the positioning of each crew member. Following this activity, NASA astronaut Christina Cook will complete a Deep Space Network Emergency Communications Developmental Flight Test Objective, which will basically be a checkout of the emergency communication system on board the Orion spacecraft while connected to the Deep Space Network, which is an array of giant radio antennas that support interplanetary spacecraft missions. In addition to that activity, NASA astronaut Reed Wiseman and Victor Glover will also finish completing some checkouts of medical devices on board the Orion spacecraft. They did complete some of these checkouts earlier in the day, so they just need to wrap out a few final checkouts for that activity.
Integrity Houston, before we start the EMERCOM DFTO, we have a couple of timeline sync-up items to get you continuing on with the timeline while that DFTO is happening.
Go ahead.
Hey, Christina, for the avatar photo, while you are doing the historical photos, we'd also like you to take note of the lights, and if and when we've got either the EMERCOM or afterwards, just call down a quick light status for us. We didn't catch one this morning. And then second, I think we'd be interested in status on if folks got to the med device checkout at all yet. And with the trouble with the ECG this morning, we have uplinked message 3.03.06 ECG troubleshooting, and we would like that prioritized ahead of any remaining medical device checkout.
Okay, we can catch you up on some things. Medical device checkout is complete. Avatar photos are complete. For the avatar lights, they are all on, except for number 15.
We copy. And in that case, then the only other thing we'd be looking for is that message 3.3.6.
And POIC integrity for the avatar photos, those were taken about 2 hours ago.
Integrity Huntsville, we copy about 2 hours ago. Thanks so much.
And this is Artemis Mission Control here in Houston, Texas. There was some communication there between NASA astronaut Christina Cook and the Capcom or capsule communicator here on the ground, discussing some of the remainder of the activities for the day. And so Christina will be supporting a Deep Space Network emergency communications test.
Integrity Houston, our team on the ground is ready to step into the emergency comm DFTO when you are. And for your information, a few minutes ago, we put in a EPS cross tie just to cover us for some of the different attitudes we'll be in for the next couple of hours.
Copy. EPS cross tie is in for a couple hours, and I'm starting the EMERCOM DFTO now.
Copy. And Christina, I've got a couple of notes for you on the procedure when you're ready to copy.
Ready for your notes.
All right, a couple of nominal things to give you in the procedure itself. In instruction 15.1.5, you will want antenna 3. And in instruction 17.1.7, the answer is yes, we do want an attitude maneuver.
Copy all.
And then, Christina, the final item is we are going to transition directly from this activity into the next attitude for the D5 camera checkout. So if, when you get to step 11, to maneuver to bias tail to sun attitude, assuming that we have good comm with you, the ground is going to take the attitude commanding to that camera window attitude. If for some reason you have not reestablished comm with us, then we would like you to perform step 11.
Copy. I will stop in step 11 and talk with you if we have comm. Otherwise, I will continue the procedure as written.
Good, read back. And we are ready for you in step 2.
Copy. Skipping to step 2.
And this is Artemis Mission Control. NASA astronaut Christina Cook is currently working through the Deep Space Network Emergency Communications Developmental Flight Test Objective, during which she's basically conducting a checkout of that emergency communication system on Orion while connected to that Deep Space Network. And coming up in just a few moments, we will hit an important milestone in which the Orion spacecraft will officially be closer to the moon than from Earth.
And Integrity Houston, we have some news to share with you. As of 30 seconds ago, you are now closer to the moon than you are to us on Earth.
Wow, Jackie, thank you for sharing that with us. We all kind of had a collective, I guess, expression of joy at that. It's hard to imagine, but we can see here on our flight PFD that we are at 118,000 nautical miles. So, yeah, you can do the math. We can see the moon out of the docking hatch right now. It is a beautiful sight. We're seeing more and more of the far side, and it's just a thrill to be here.
Houston copies.
And there we just had that confirmation called up to the crew that the Orion spacecraft named Integrity and its crew, which you can currently see on your screen, are now officially closer to the moon than they are to Earth. This comes about 2 days, 5 hours, and 24 minutes following a liftoff from NASA's Kennedy Space Center on April 1st at 5:35 p.m. Central, 6:35 p.m. Eastern. Now, while they are officially closer to the moon than they are to Earth, they have not entered what is known as the lunar sphere of influence yet. That milestone will come on flight day 5. And when that milestone happens, that is when the moon, instead of the Earth, becomes the main gravitational force acting on the Orion spacecraft. And we're currently in an expected loss of signal. So right now you're seeing a live look inside the Artemis flight control room here in Mission Control, Houston.
And Houston integrity on 1 for toilet and that kind of burning odor smell that we were reporting on the ground.
Integrity Houston, we're having a little bit of a choppy comm. Can you repeat?
Yeah, Jackie, we just wanted to sync up with you. We know that there was some talk about some burnt smell from the heaters. Just stand by 1. Okay, Jackie, so this time we turned on the WHC on the toilet and it had that burning odor smell that we just hadn't experienced before. And so we just wanted to talk to you about it. We know we had a briefing on that.
Checking. Hey, Jeremy, on the toilet, we're actually scratching our heads a little bit down here tonight on the odor that you are referencing. So can you give us a little more clarity on it happened when it was running or not, and this is the first time that you have experienced it? Is that correct?
the crew has smelt it once or twice before, but this time was stronger and was different. And we opened the door, everybody in the cabin could smell it. So we just thought we'd check in with you. We're not overly concerned right now. It's probably related to what we're told to expect, but we just wanted to have a quick conversation.
Jeremy, we're checking. Integrity Houston, we are pulling together the minds here to recall exactly what the pre-flight expectations were. In the meantime, we would like a quick AGA reading from its location.
And Jackie, all AGA readings are off scale low.
Houston copies. Thanks.
Jackie, for the EMERCOM DFTO, I am ready for your go in instruction 76. I understand we might be pausing to address this issue. And regarding the smell, I just wanted to be sure you all were tracking the EGS notes of the kind of burning heater smell that was coming from toilet several times. It was never identified as a source, what it exactly was, but it was identified as a known smell. So that's one reason why when I smelled it earlier, I didn't report it. It was kind of a lighter odor than this time, though.
Copy all, Christina, and yeah, we'll discuss at least for a few minutes here before we continue on with the EMERCOM DFTO. And yep, we are getting the information about the pre-flight smell now, so thanks. Integrity Houston, on Orion to Earth 1 for the toilet. We've discussed, based on the pre-flight reports and the AGA readings, we're going to continue discussing on the ground, but we are comfortable continuing with the emergency comm DFTO, and we are comfortable with you continuing to use the toilet.
Okay, understood, Jackie. No, that sounds reasonable to us.
Okay, and the final thing, we'll lose video during the EMERCOM DFTO, but just in case you're still working on ECG checkout when we get back, just please be mindful of screens being viewed by the HHP camera.
We copy, and with that, do I understand I have a go in instruction 76?
Christina, affirm, you are go in 76, and when you unpower S-band, expect a caution, pry S-band fail.
Copy.
This is Artemis Mission Control here in Houston, Texas. There was quite a bit of communication between the crew currently on board the Orion spacecraft, who you can see there on your screen, and the ground, namely the Capcom or capsule communicator position. They were discussing some odors, possibly related to the toilet system and some motors. And then they were also discussing resuming the Deep Space Network Emergency Communications Development Flight Test objective. So Christina continues to work on that. And then Reed and Victor have been wrapping up some medical device checkouts, including a checkout of an electrocardiogram or ECG device. And right now we're in an expected loss of signal. So you're seeing a live look inside the Artemis flight control room here in Mission Control Houston. And this flight control room is just down the hallway from the International Space Station flight control room. And currently on console is the Orbit 2 team of flight controllers. And during the mission, there are 3 shifts, which are known as orbits, that monitor the crew and its systems 24/7. The Orbit 2 team of flight controllers is being led by NASA Flight Director Paul Kanya, who you can see there on the upper right-hand side of your screen, and he is sitting next to the Capcom or capsule communicator for this shift, who is Jackie Mahaffey there in the center of your screen, and next to her is NASA astronaut Tracy Dyson, also sitting at the Capcom console. Coming up on the timeline, NASA astronaut Victor Glover is expected to complete a window optical quality developmental flight test objective. And during this objective, Victor will take out a D5 camera and take some images at different focal lengths of various subjects out of the windows, such as the Earth or Moon, to evaluate the optical effects of the windows on the Orion spacecraft on imagery. And then currently on your screen, you're seeing a view of the Artemis real-time orbital website, which is available at nasa.gov/trackartemis. And this provides view of live data and telemetry coming from the Orion spacecraft, especially when we don't have the live views of the Orion spacecraft itself. And just a few minutes ago, the Orion spacecraft and its crew did surpass a milestone, of which they are now closer to the moon than they are to Earth. So you can see there in the bottom right-hand side of your screen that the Orion spacecraft is currently 137,000 miles away from Earth and about 135,000 miles away from the moon.